Well, this is the last workshop Wednesday with the FeckHallBahn in its current location in Worcestershire. You may remember that I tried to sort out Baskerville's wheels, Baskerville being a Mamod Bolton loco. When I was re-gauging it, the wheels wouldn't slip easily along the axles, and I managed to make a botch job of reaming them out so that one of them was wobbling around, causing the loco to derail just about everywhere. I asked Hugh Inian Jones from H. Jones Engineering to make me up a new set with slightly deeper flanges, which arrived yesterday morning, and so I unpacked Baskerville and, as it happens, had to rummage through a few of the packing boxes to find my hex screwdrivers and replaced the new wheels, or rather placed the new wheels on their axles, and this is how I did it. I'm afraid I've also packed away all my tripods and such like, so I couldn't film this with the usual degree of everything in frame. The job took me just over 36 minutes in film anyway, so what I've done is sped it up by a factor of 4. The first job was to get the old wheels off and the axles out. In fact, only one pair of old wheels, because Hugh had one of the axles and the previous pair to give himself a guide for the diameter of the axle I needed. So the bushes are out, the axle's out, and I'm taking a great deal of care here to make sure that I get the drive cog on the right side of the motor so that when I turn the controller, the wheels go in the right direction, so clockwise for forwards, anti-clockwise for back. Somehow or another, I didn't quite manage this. Just deburring the inside of the wheels here with the axles, and in goes axle number 1 eventually. Clog on, second wheel on, out to the back and in with the bushes, and the next job is on with the connecting rods. These bushes fall out a few times, please don't judge me. There's no problems with quartering the connecting rod cranks on this. The axles themselves have the quartering built in, so it's a question of getting the flat side in the right place and the connecting rods the right way up so that the dummy lubricating caps are on the top when the connecting rod is fitted. Again, something I didn't quite manage on the right side of the loco, so I had to go back and do it again. Here you see me realising that I've got the left side connecting rod on upside down. So change it round, make sure it's on correctly. The connecting rods, the crank webs, are fitted with a slotted head grub screw, whereas the ones on the wheels and the driving cog are with tiny grub screws. So once I'd realised I'd got the left side on incorrectly, turned it round, I went back to have a look at the right to check that I'd got that correct. Guess what? I hadn't. There's quite a lot of slop in these Mamods when they're built. There's no need for it really, but there's also no dimples on the axles or anywhere else as you get on Accucraft and Roundhouse locos to show you where the wheels need to go to be at the correct gauge. So it's a question of a little bit of trial and error and a bit of jiggling and to and fro to make sure that everything's in symmetrically before you start doing the gauging. So as you can see, the gauge is adjustable. The wheels are currently they're not set at all, they're loose on the axles. I will be setting them to 45mm gauge. Now, according to Mamod, the back-to-back for 45mm gauge is 40mm. According to Roundhouse and pretty well everybody else, the back-to-back should be 40.5. Initially, I set it to the Mamod back-to-back of 40, but this didn't quite work over the LGB track point work that I use. So I've ended up setting it to 40.5. So this little jig here with the red tag on it, that's the one I ended up using. There were several tries in between that aren't shown on the film, but the 40.5 gave the correct distance in the end. Having spent several minutes getting all the gauging correct, and most importantly with the wheel edges the same distance each side away from the frames, it's at this point that I realised that I've managed to get the bevel gear the wrong side of the motor cog. So when I turn the controller, it goes backwards when it should go forward, and vice versa. So I have to disassemble the front wheel, set the whole axle, take it all to pieces and turn it round so that the bevel gear here is the other side of the motor drive cog. I've taken out the original sound at this point because I really don't want my devoted fans and people who don't know me very well to hear the amount of blue language that occurred at this point. I do lubricate it, but I don't think I've shown that on the video. So it gets a tiny drop of oil on everything once I know it's working. So now back to the business of re-gauging it again, getting all the gauging right, getting the grub screws back in. It is working the correct way round, which is good news. And in goes the grub screw again, and getting that little gauging jig to stay in at the same time you're doing it up, especially now I've packed away all my loco cradles and everything, is a nuisance. But job's done, and it's now time for the real test of it and get it out on some track. Running it through the trickiest bit of point work I'm going to have on the railway, the three-way point, and it's perfect. There's no derailment. Very happy. Thanks Hugh, and thank you for watching. Goodbye.